Oh, what's up, YouTube? Oh. Are we live? We're live. We're good. We're golden. How's everybody doing? Sexual healing. Check out. All right, guys. I'm excited. I have a spectacular presentation for you today. As you can see by the whiteboard, we got a lot to cover. We got a lot to get through. So let's get it. How does that sound? What's up, Metri? Got a voice. Kurt Easton. All right. Damon. What's up, guys? Instagram, how we doing? Cody, what's up? Okay. I am going to break down the sexual kung fu system for you guys today. This is the path to sexual mastery. This is the path to sexual mastery. Anything else is a waste of time. And you'll see Phil Bradley, what's up? Hoorah! Okay. So I did a poll on my YouTube recently, and just to see like where you guys at, like who's practicing this stuff, who's kind of dabbling, and who's not really doing it, right? So it sounds like about 22% of you have a daily practice. You're adepts. That's awesome. Fantastic. You guys are the ones like crushing. You guys are the ones like moving mountains, making things happen. Props. You guys know who you are. About 43% of you are dabblers. Like you do things here and there, kind of randomly. Yeah, I'll do this, that, and there. Kind of dabbling. That's cool, but you know, you're only gonna get so far with that. But 35% of you are mental masturbators. This means that you're just like listening to videos, consuming information, but not doing anything with it. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. It's whatever. We all have a choice. But you guys know that I'm a man of action. I'm a practical guy. And the whole thing is, if you want to get somewhere, you have to do something. You have to, it has to be a lifestyle. This is a cultivation. It's a practice. It's a process. Okay, so I'm going to break down this process and the things involved on the path to sexual mastery, which is the sexual kung fu system. Ooh, how's that sound? I'm going to tell some stories. We'll have some laughs. We might even cry. We might fall in love. I don't know. Anything could happen, guys. But let's get into it. So really, this is for those of you who are kind of like more towards the beginning stage of your journey. Like I often get a lot of messages from you guys asking like, hey, like, where do I even begin with all this stuff? Because I have literally thousands of videos on my YouTube channel. There's a ton of information I've thrown out there, but this is for those of you who are like, okay, I need like practical steps of like really, maybe you're just starting, or maybe you're kind of dabbling, you've done some things, but you really want like a coherent path to like get you to your destination. And even those of you who are more advanced, like those of you who are already like well established in your sexual kung fu practice, this is going to be a great overview and just a reminder of like, why are you doing what you're doing? And a reminder of like, what's the big picture here? We're gonna go deep into this. So let's get into it. Okay, how's it sound? You guys with me? Let me grab my dandelion root coffee. Oh, boom. Okay. So as you can see, we have, well, we'll get to this guy. This is going to be a demonstration of, you know, certain things happening within the body. But a lot of men have problems. A lot of men are struggling sexually. Let me ask you this. Are you where you want to be sexually? Right now, how's your sex life? You can type in the chat box, you know, if you want to let me know. But more than that, like, how is your life in general? Do you enjoy the things you do? Are you living a life of purpose and fulfillment, passion? Like, do you wake up in the morning being like, hell yes, I'm going to crush today. I have all these ideas. I'm excited to do this thing. Or do you wake up in the morning and you're like, shit, I have to go to work. I have no energy. What am I doing with my life? Where am I going? Like, I'm just curious, you guys, where are you guys at? And John's saying, thank you for the conversation. Of course. So I remember, you know, this is about you guys. It's like, I've got my thing. I'd be content to like live on a mountain and like be a hermit and like just do my sexual kung fu, do my qigong, and like, you know, not mingle. I would be content to do that, but that's not going to do much for the world. If I'm just like in my own like trip, far away, not interacting with people, not sharing what I've learned with others, like it's not going to get us very far. So like, this is about you guys, because the transformation I went through, you know, going from being a very feminine, low testosterone, low disciplined, no direction life, smoking weed every day, terrible with women, premature ejaculation, porn addiction, etc. I went from that to getting my shit together. I have an amazing relationship. I have an amazing career, you could say. You know, I make plenty of money doing something that I love, and I'm able to travel the world as I please. And I have amazing sex. I have amazing sexual experience. So, like, that's the transformation I made. This is the transformation you guys made. Okay. So, just where are you guys at? Where are you guys at? You know, do you wake up? Because this is no. It's what you're really going to see by the end of this is that it's about more than just sex. Like maybe you just want to have multiple, you know, non-ejaculatory orgasms. Maybe you just want to have better sexual control, right? And that's cool. I understand. That's where I was when I started. But then when we start to get to the bigger picture, I mean, when we start to talk about spirit, yeah, you know what I mean? It's like we see that there's a lot more to it, and our sexual energy is about more than just getting off. It's about well, it's connected to every aspect of our being. I'll just say that, okay? And so what I'm hoping to get you guys to see is that the bigger your vision, the bigger your reason for doing this, the more successful you will be, the further you're going to get in your path. Because there's a difference between just wanting to get off a little bit better. There's a difference between that and wanting to have like massive amounts of creative potential so you can literally become a god, to program your own reality, to change your surroundings, to change your relationships, to literally do whatever you want to do. And this is the potential every person has, okay? Hey, can I get a hallelujah? Can I get an amen? So let me ask you this, let me ask you guys, like, what is it? Where are you going? Where's your direction? Where's your destination? Because if you don't have that, like, you're lost. Without a destination, you're just wandering around, you know, jerking off in the closet. Maybe some of you are doing that right now. Who's in the closet jerking off right now? Okay, so just think about what is my destination, and that may change throughout this training we're going to go through. Okay, so the problem is where a lot of men are starting. This is where a lot of you are starting. Premature ejaculation, erectile dysfunction. Let me get on this side. Oh yeah, it's my better side. Erectile dysfunction, did I already say that? Low testosterone. Wait, won't. Performance anxiety, having a lack of drive and discipline, having porn addiction. These are the afflictions that I know brought a lot of you here. Because guess what? All of these are what brought me to this journey. I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't gone through every single one of these things and then overcome them. Okay? So just a little thing of like, the struggles we go through, sometimes they seem impossible. They seem difficult and, oh God, like I can never do this thing. Like, you know, like for some of you listening to this, maybe you've been working with this for a little while and you're starting, maybe some of you feel like I could never do this. I could never last as long as I want. I could never have non-ejaculatory orgasms. I can never channel my sexual energy and doing incredible things. Like some of you have that voice in your head. And guess what? I had that voice in my head. All this is your resistance. It's the little part of you that doesn't want to grow. That's it. Because sometimes it's scary to grow. You get bigger. You expand more. People start to notice you more. You start to get more attention. There's more pressure, right? So there's the resistance, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that your pains, and this goes beyond just bedroom stuff, any pains, any struggles you have in life are an opportunity to completely transform yourself, essentially. Can I get an amen? Can I get a hallelujah? Okay. So the sermon goes, how do we overcome these things? All right, let's keep it practical. What do we want? I should have written this down to like kind of contrast this. Well, from premature ejaculation to unlimited sexual stamina. And it's not like a matter of like, oh, well, yeah, you can last an hour. It's like when you develop your sexual kung fu skill, there's no end to how long you can last. It's like, when do you want to be done? Essentially, right? From erectile dysfunction to rock hard, baby, rock hard. Low testosterone to high testosterone. I recently did my YouTube video, how to double your testosterone, and I'm talking about how behavior is a big aspect of that. And I was using this exact whiteboard. I was talking about going from being a little bitch to being a man, and not everyone wants to hear that, but it's true. It's true. Anyways, I digress. So, from low testosterone to high testosterone, from performance anxiety to going into sex excited and curious, like, all right. Sex should be your playground. It should be an outlet for you to express yourself and your deepest desires. But for a lot of men, it's not. It's a prison. It's a, oh God, like, am I going to ejaculate too soon? What's she going to think about me? What if she doesn't have an orgasm? Is she enjoying this? Oh God, that's what a lot of men's sexual experience looks like, because that's what my experience looked like for a long time. So we can completely change this dynamic. Going from a lack of drive and discipline into being unstoppably driven, unstoppably disciplined. This is one of the thing that changed the most for me from doing this work, was that sexual energy is pure momentum. It's pure drive. It's pure desire. And when you stop wasting that through excessive ejaculation, now you have the storehouse building up of pure driving energy, and you can put it into anything you want to do. And it's just gonna, you become unstoppable, okay? And you build discipline going through this process. No one's born with discipline. It's something you must create. Discipline means you do the thing you know you're supposed to do even when you don't feel like doing it. That's the thing. Like, there's a difference between motivation and discipline. Motivation's not always gonna be there. Like, yeah, right now I'm motivating you guys. I'm like, hey, this is what it could be. You can do this, man. You can do this. But you know, unless you keep my YouTube channel running 24/7, you're not always going to hear me telling you can do this. And then the inner voice starts to say, I can't do this. I shouldn't do this. I should just get on Pornhub right now. You know, so that's where the discipline comes in and say, you know what? Not today. Not this time. All right. Let me tell you guys a quick story before I get into the destination, where we're going and how we get there. I remember, this just came into mind right now. I remember about 13 years ago, 2012 was the year. I was, how old am I? I was 23 years old, like right before I got into sexual kung fu. I remember waking up in the morning. I think, it was a time where I was overly emotional. I was very like, who am I? What am I doing? I was always involved in like these very toxic, needy dynamics with women. And this woman had kind of been like jerking me around, not in a good way, okay? and I just remember waking up in the morning just feeling like this, like, ugh, just this heaviness and this, like, over emotionality and confusion. Where am I going in my life? Is she thinking about me right now? And I remember picking up my phone, going to a porn site, pulling up a porn video, and jerking off, like ejaculating. I hadn't even stepped out of bed. I'd barely been awake for 5 or 10 minutes, and I'd already busted a nut to porn. And I felt like shit the rest of that day. Felt terrible. And I realized, like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Like, I'm not going to get anywhere doing this, because this was one of the first times it happened. Like, the rest of my day just felt empty, felt depleted. And that was when I realized, like, maybe it's not good for me to pick up my phone and jerk off to porn. Maybe I should stop doing that. All right. So I just want to show you, because like, that's the experience I had, right? And it's part of what led me here today, was the realization of, hey, maybe this isn't optimal. So these are the core things in sexual kung fu that we focus on. And I could have gone as expansive or like oversimplified, and this is a little bit oversimplified, but it really, these are all the things we address in sexual kung fu. So let's start with the nervous system, because this connects to everything I've been talking about. All these things connect to your nervous system. You're stuck in a stress response. You're stuck in fight or flight. You're stressed out, especially around sexuality. The situation arises, you go into intimacy with your partner, stress response. Cortisol is released. You're in your head, you're worrying, you can't get an erection, or if you can, you bust really quickly. So all these things are tied to the nervous system. So this is one of the cores. So I start with it because, you correct this, everything's going to fall into place. But it's not quite as simple as like people often ask me, Jonathan, well, what's the one thing I do to fix my nervous system? Unfortunately, it's not that simple, because there's so many facets to it, okay? But I will say that everything in sexual kung fu is working with this, and we'll talk more about this. How you guys doing? You with me? You with me so far, guys? William saying, I've had ED since I started my sexual life. Can it be cured? Yes, William, it can. So we focus a lot on the nervous system in sexual kung fu, because as you may have heard me say, Premature ejaculation is linked to stuck in stress response. Often erectile dysfunction is connected to this. Low testosterone. When you're constantly in fight or flight, your cortisol is high, testosterone production is suppressed. This is well known, okay? So we can knock a lot of dominoes down by fixing the nervous system. And we do this in sexual kung fu by retraining our habits. Retraining the way that you engage your mind, your body. And I think it's not the next point, but the pelvic floor work is a big part of this. We'll come to that. So this is why a lot of people are teaching techniques. It's like, oh, well, just do this. It's like, oh, you're close to ejaculating, just squeeze a Kegel. It's like you're trying to, crush a beer can between your your pelvic floor muscles. They're teaching tips and tricks. And it's like, if you have to, if you're at the point where you're about to ejaculate, it's like, okay, well, what do I do now? It's already too late, bro. It's already too late. It's about keeping yourself from never getting there in the first place, okay? So essentially what we're doing in sexual kung fu is retraining your stress response in sexuality to a relaxation response. So, all right, this is a helpful time to get into the diagram here. So we'll call this a gym, okay? Sorry, there's probably a gym watching this, but it's a gym. It's our boy Jim. It's this fine work of art I've drawn here. I'm a Van Gogh. I know, guys. So we've got these two pathways in the body that we. This is an oversimplification, but I'm going to draw a red line. The spinal pathway. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's enough. It's enough. Whatever. There's a red line, all right? This represents the sympathetic nervous system. This is your stress response. Because there's a stress pathway in the body, that's what most men are wired into with their sexual function. And then we have a relaxation pathway. Represents the parasympathetic nervous system. We could say in some ways this correlates with the vagus nerve, and the sympathetic corresponds with the spinal pathway. Oversimplification, but it's a good model to work with. Where's my dandelion root coffee? Oh, damn. Okay. So if you experience, I would say most of these things, they're all related, but especially like, premature ejaculation, performance anxiety, etc. You have created a dominant pathway of your sympathetic nervous system for sexual function, for sexual response. It's where the pleasure moves. It's where the sexual energy moves. It communicates to the brain like, hey, we're overexcited. We need to ejaculate because the ejaculatory function is connected to this sympathetic nervous system. And men have solidified this response by using it over and over and over and over because of porn conditioning, because of poor masturbation habits. So basically like situation, like if you're like me, I remember being like 14 years old on my family computer. This was like, early 2000s. We had dial-up internet. Okay, maybe some of you remember that. Some of you are too young to remember that. Basically, it took like an hour to download a 5-second video clip. And I'd be sitting there on the family computer like, are they gonna find out? Are they gonna find out? And I'd be like, oh shit, I gotta get this done. Or it'd be like late at night. Sometimes I'd sneak out there and like be downloading 5-second pixelated porn clips to like jerk off really quick. And so it was like, I might get caught. This could be, I might get caught. So there's a stressor behind it. And doing this over and over and over again, I trained in this pattern of sexual stimulation equals not safe. So I need to be like really on guard and like really tense. And I would squeeze my pelvic floor to get right to that edge. So this is what men do. I think it's safe to say if I did this, a lot of you have done it. And I know that that's true. So essentially, as I drop my marker, we create a tension response. And that's keeping you stuck in premature ejaculation, also causes situational erectile dysfunction, low testosterone because of excessive ejaculation and worrying, etc. So we want to build this new pathway of relaxation, parasympathetic nervous system, in regards to John saying that's my case. Yeah, it was mine too, John. It was mine too. a path of relaxation. What does this look like? Okay, here's the contrast. Here's the contrast. I already had the scenario, I'm jerking off on family computer at night, hope my mom doesn't or dad don't walk in on me. But it's also like going into sex. I remember, a lot of my early sexual experiences, I was just so in my head. It was like, what is she thinking? Does my body look weird? Oh, okay, well, maybe I should ask her before we do this position, or are you enjoying this? Is this okay? It's like that, just this constant, like, are they hating this? Do I look stupid? Is there something wrong with me? That's where my mind was during a lot of my early sexual experiences. So just complete stress mode, okay? So that's the old model. Here's a new model you can switch into, which is fantastic, which is moving into the relaxation pathway. Here's the contrast. Instead of, we could even use masturbation as reference, because part of sexual kung fu is using self-pleasure to create these new habits. So here's the contrast. Instead of death gripping your pelvic floor muscle, we'll get to that. We'll get to the pelvic floor. You're breathing really shallow. You're like, the most stimulating imagery you have on the screen or the most stimulating thought you can think of, you're just focused on that. Just like, okay, ejaculate. Okay. It's short-lived. It's not very sustainable. Or you're having sex and everything's tense, everything's like I already said. Well, the other end of the spectrum, I didn't mean to be too redundant there, is in a self-pleasure situation. It's like you're deeply relaxed. You're moving your spine. There's waves of pleasure moving up your body. You're deeply relaxed. You're relaxing your pelvic floor, and you're just like, oh fuck yeah! You're breathing deeply. There's this sense of spaciousness. You're in this state of profound pleasure, like with the butterflies filling in your stomach. You're like that buildup where you're getting close to ejaculation. Imagine that, but it's like, what's the word here? It's like an electrical storm moving through your whole body, just this wave of massive pleasure, and it starts to sustain and build, and you're relaxing more into it. You're breathing deeper into it, and you're like, because if you tense up, it's gonna lead you to ejaculation, then it's over. So you sustain it by breathing deeply, by relaxing more, by opening and opening and opening. And guess what? You can do that for 10, 15, 20 minutes, and you feel like, fuck yes, I love this. I love myself. This feels amazing. I feel like a god expanding into the universe. It sounds ridiculous, but it's literally what it feels like. So that's a contrast from the like, okay, it's over. It's a little bit different, all right? And maybe you like that old model. That's fine, but this is the potential you have, guys, okay? Okay, and then in sex, it's the same thing. It's like, instead of like, what's my partner thinking? What am I doing next? Blah, blah, blah. You're just like, you're spontaneous. You're like, I just want to grab you and flip you over, baby. This is what we're doing. And you're not worried about anything. You're just like feeling. It's like that animalistic, but also like passionate, loving version of yourself. Is just like, fuck yes, I am completely connected to my partner. There is nothing, I'm not walled off. I'm not protecting myself from anything. I'm not like holding myself back. It's an absolute immersion into deep, passionate lovemaking, going to Pound Town, whatever it is. And like just waves of pleasure. Every movement is just like this wave of orgasm up the spine, up the spine. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's incredible. Okay. And I can only paint the picture so much. That's why I have to make these ridiculous sounds, All right. So that's what it's like when you get the parasympathetic pathway going and strong. How does that sound, guys? Which one do you prefer? I'm curious. Do you like the quick, tense bust a nut, or do you like the 30 minutes, hours of rolling waves of pleasure through your body? What do you guys prefer? I prefer the latter, personally. I'm a parasympathetic man, tell you what. Okay, so that's the nervous system. We're retraining from the tension response into a relaxation response. So you open and relax instead of tensing and closing down. And that's a whole process in itself. But the simple thing to do is like, hey, just practice relaxing your whole body when you're having sex, when you're masturbating, whatever. Just relax, especially the pelvic floor. Okay, I probably should have gone to the pelvic floor next. In fact, we're gonna swap this around. Okay, little switcheroni. I'll stop talking for just a minute. Allow you guys to kind of introspect on what was just said. And let me ask you guys, like, what is your average sexual experience like? Like, think about it. Think of your last 2 or 3, whether it was with yourself or with a partner. Like, what was it like? Was it enjoyable? Did you feel like, hell yes? before, during, and after, or at least, during, after, anytime? Or was it impulsive? Was it unsatisfying? Just curious. Okay. Komal says parasympathetic for the win. Komal Springs acupuncture. Deck 6182 para for the win. Kina says deep breathing and relaxing your pelvic floor is a game changer. It really is. So right to the pelvic floor. Okay. And this really ties in perfectly with what I was just talking about with the nervous system, the pelvic floor work, because all of this